Welcome back to Point of View. For those of you who are just joining us, today in studio with me for the Nairobi County Caucus segment, we have Mr. Timothy Muriuki from the NCBD. Welcome back. Now, continuing our discussion in our second segment, let's talk about the CCTV project that you mentioned in our first segment. What exactly has the NCBD brought to the table that's a bit different? Because we've had the cameras since we have our county government started working. So what's new about this suggestion?
Okay, let me go to the genesis of it.
Okay.
About 7 years ago, NCBD came up with the CCTV project model that it would have liked to implement in the city. And our focus was to nip both the security problems and traffic problems.
Using the CCTV.
Using the CCTV. We were cognizant of the fact that this was a heavy capital expenditure project.
Indeed.
At that time, there were no budgetary allocations. When the late Mutula Kilonzo became the Minister of Nairobi Metropolitan, he was very enthusiastic about the project. And so he managed to allocate 250 million to that project. That did not work out because that ministry did not have capacity then to implement such a project. So the money went back to Treasury. Of course, he moved on to the Constitutional Affairs Ministry, and the Honorable Gerald Gedai, the current ambassador to the US, became the minister. And we had the same money now allocated, but nothing was executed.
Okay.
Actually, the money had been budgeted for, but there was no allocation. So the same minister became the Minister of Finance later.
All right.
So that time he managed to allocate 400 million to the project, and that is what you saw as a phase that was being implemented by a Chinese company. Now, how that project has gone on and the realization of its fruits, that we are not able to audit, and we have not been able to audit. However, during the same period, the Ministry of Interior, through the presidency, came up now with a larger project that is being implemented by Safaricom. Because remember, in this CCTV project, you need bandwidth, you need connectivity.
Yeah.
And anybody can hook up into the network so long as you have allowed them to, and so long as you have a network.
Yeah.
So I think when the president looked at it and decided, and they made a decision, an executive decision, that is the way it was going to be implemented, we were very happy. Because Safaricom has the bandwidth, it has the capacity.
Indeed.
So that is now the project that we think is going to really work, and it's already working. There's a monitoring center at Jogo House. The cameras are from here up to, in fact, there's a camera in Gong.
Okay.
Gong town.
All right.
From being monitored from Jogo House, monitoring center. That was the idea we had. That was a dream. And I think His Excellency has captured exactly what we dreamt about.
Okay.
That you can be able to monitor the entire of this town, the entire of this city, and beyond, using that system. At the same time, that system will be used to monitor traffic, so that you're not solving traffic through the traditional method of the askaris at the junctions.
Yeah.
Talking through radios and mobile phones.
Yeah.
That is being monitored from one center, and you can easily see where the gridlocks are, and you can easily see how to reroute traffic. And that's how many other cities operate. At the same time, on the issues of security, we're able to monitor people. We had, in our own plan, said that those cameras should be able to have very many characteristics. Of course, that has to do with the software behind the camera, face recognition, number plate recognition, so that if you key in KBS 037L, and you want that car to be traced, all those cameras that have that capability will be able to pick up that car and and alert the center.
They'll be able to
that
identify it.
this car is here and it's been captured by this camera number so and so in this location. So that is exactly what we had idealized, and I think the current project is really coming up with that. At the same time, those cameras are infrared, so day and night. Good day and night capabilities. So that's I think we are now getting where we had thought we would be, or we should have been. And mine is only to say that now we must look at the sustainability, because I think sustainability was another issue.
That's
we may
true.
be able to put up all those cameras, but the moment they start getting breaking down, this one has broken down, we must be able to then come back and maintain them.
Yeah.
And replace them, and sort out the issues that may come up with maintaining the system.
And maybe before we get deeper into the conversation, I'll maybe ask for a clarification. His Excellency's project with Safaricom and the CCTV project suggestion by the NCBD and the cameras we see from the county government, is there any relation, or are these three different kind of projects being put on the table?
Okay, the project that you saw that was implemented by the Nairobi Metropolitan was specifically to the county, and eventually, and I hope eventually, it will be able to be roped into the current monitoring center. Because the monitoring centers were different, and ideally, having one system is what is required. So that if the county needs to monitor its own issues, it can do that from the monitoring center. If the national government has issues that it needs to monitor, it can use the same monitoring center. If the NIS need to monitor some issues, they can use the same center. That is what is envisaged. In fact, the same cameras on the road can also be used for speed monitoring.
That's true.
So our idea was that you have one center, but with that is multifaceted. So even those cameras that are in the county, we do hope that it will be able to be roped in, because it's just a camera. Yeah.
Thus far, with the implementation and them being set up on the roads, are they functional?
Well, you have the monitoring center at Jogo House is functioning, and of course they continue.
But is it in relation to the camera set up by the county government?
Well, the camera set up by the county government, I said I would not be able to say we have done an audit on that.
Okay.
As one of the people who are involved in implementation. I was involved up to tendering stage, and from there, when they tendered and they went ahead and opened the tenders, that was the Ministry of Nairobi Metropolitan. We were not involved.
Okay.
But I can tell you for a fact that system, to be very easy to rope it in. Let me also say that the project by Metropolitan also includes traffic lighting. The traffic lights that you see with countdown figures, that was also in that project. So to talk about roping that into the main project so as to have one network, that is possible. It's the same way you would have a local area network for your offices, but you have one room that has a network of computers, and then you decide that also this room is going to get into the rest of the network. It's pretty much the same technology.
Okay. So that's far we should expect maybe a partnership between the two.
Yes.
Wonderful. And now moving on to security issues. We've seen the county, it's not been devolved down to the county, but are there certain aspects of it that maybe the county can take care of?
Security is a complex government, and I mean, when we were doing a new constitution, it was retained at the national level. However, county governments have their own infrastructure for what you call inspectorate. Now, what is an inspectorate? The inspectorate does check the compliance of laws of the county, of the city county. We have a Nairobi inspectorate. That's what we call them Kajo. Now, those guys are supposed to be looking at the implementation of city county laws, Nairobi City County laws.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that is their role, many of them pertain to and are related to the security of the county.
Mm-hmm.
So, what am I trying to say? Trying to say that the security, the inspectorate system of the county should be used to, curb some of the things that may be happening, even though that is not the role of the county government,
Mm-hmm.
but within the ambit of of them being the inspectorate arm, then they can help.
Mm-hmm.
However, let me also say that even though the county government is not involved in security,
Mm-hmm.
I think they should also be able to assist, or they should share information
Mm-hmm.
with the with the security.
Let's keep it TVC.